Welcome back to the Salty Podcast, where it's always a great day to talk about sailing. This is episode 39. Before we begin, please smash that like button, subscribe, and feel free to ask a question or comment in the live chat on either YouTube or Facebook. Tonight's episode, I'm going to ask my two guests what they think about the current storm that threatens the Gulf Coast, as well as other things regarding sailboats and sailing. Joining me are Vanessa Lindsley and Key West John, two experienced sailors who live full-time on their boats in Key West. With their vast knowledge of sailboats, passage making, and how to handle storms, Vanessa and John will share their wisdom, tips, and predictions as Helene approaches weather. And whether you're a seasoned sailor or new to the lifestyle, this conversation will be full of insights and practical advice. With that, let's bring out Vanessa and Key West John. Here we go. Hey.
Hello, everyone. And when you talk about wisdom, you need to refer to Vanessa. She is the one. I've known her for years. She is the one with wisdom. So don't associate me in the wisdom thing. I have experience, but I don't know how much wisdom it is.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you both are very wise, and I appreciate you always helping me when I get in a jam. So let's start off with Vanessa. Tell me, you guys have a storm that's kind of going by you right now, right?
Kind of sitting on top of us, growing right now.
What are you doing? What are the conditions where you are, and what have you done to prepare for it?
So it's only a tropical storm here, but you should still prepare for that like a hurricane. So I have doubled up all my lines. I carry 3/4 inch 3-strand Dacron lines, New England.
Yeah.
And so I have doubled up bows, doubled up sterns, actually doubled up forward springs, doubled up, and 2 smaller lines that are intermediate springs on either side because of the breeze and also because of my windage. The dock that I have to tie up to now has 1 piling, and there's a little floating dock, and there's a concrete wall. So I don't get to have a lot of good security in between places. So I've got to have longer springs, 1.5 times the length of the boat, and I've got to have them super tight. So I also have to maintain those bows and sterns during a tidal surge, which they think is only going to be 3 feet here if we're lucky. But right now the wind direction's out of the southeast. It's off of my forward quarter and off of my port nose, and it's got me rocking and rolling big time. So the canvas is down, but I did do something I've not done in a long time, and I left one of my awnings up.
Oh, you think it's gonna be okay? You did it on purpose?
It has fiberglass reinforcement rods in it. I lowered it closer to the boat, but it has it's withstood sustained 50 knots before, and it looks like it's going to be up to about 35, 36 in the morning in the wee hours. But that's why I'm monitoring it closely, and that's why I'm moving around a lot. If you don't notice.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, you remember Goose, John? You remember Goose? He's on your screen right there. The Goose is loose. Are you safe? Boat's all tied up, and the answer to that is yes.
Wisconsin or something like that.
Yeah, he's recovering. He wants to get back on a sailboat. He's an island packet guy, so maybe you'll sell him a boat, Vanessa.
Hey, I got one for sale.
She's a good one. I highly recommend her for it.
John, what did you do, and what are your conditions where you are? Let's tell where you are. Key West Bight Marina.
I'm probably 5 miles from where Vanessa is. She is more exposed, and I'm well protected from. But I've got a big brewery that helps me. But as you can see, I'm still. And I thought it was.
You got a brewery.
It's either the rum or it's the wind, but I'm still rocking even here. But so it's I've done basically the same. Vanessa had great, obviously great wisdom on it, and double the lines, and then add the springs, even on both sides, and then I normally would take down, just remove all the canvas from the bimini. This time I just pull the back section and the forward section together in the signature Hunter thing. Vanessa will know the name of it. The frame that they use. The sturdy. What's the frame called? That they use the frame for the Traveler, So I mean, you have a very hard support. That's why anyway. I pulled both of them back together. I think I sent you a picture earlier, and then wrapped them, tied them, and I furled the since you and me have the furling mains. I furled the mainsail in as far as I could. I didn't leave the little artistic triangle out. It's too much. And
Did you wrap it around?
No, I didn't wrap it. Normally, if we were expecting a much higher storm, like Vanessa said, we're basically going to be a tropical storm strength. We're going to let it get a little closer to you before getting to be something big. So
what's that?
Normally I would take I would undo the outhaul and take the remaining triangle part of the mainsail, wrap it around the mast, and then either tape it or wrap a dock line around it. I would remove the head sail as well, but this time, we just got everything wrapped tight. But it's good to have that canvas, the bimini top down, because that when the winds start hitting, that really flaps around a lot. So
yeah, that makes it kind of stressful when that happens.
Yeah.
So did you say that you were getting 58 knot winds? You were going to?
No.
Well, I saw at one time today. I think it was right in the storm. They clocked at 50, but it was right in one of those thunderstorms that came through with a couple of those outer bands. And but mostly, as Vanessa said, we've been in the 30s, 30 knots. And then,
which is a lot when you're on a boat.
Oh yeah, and then you add 15% to get miles per hour on that. So just add
15%.
Yeah, well that moves to transition from knots to miles per hour. Just add 15%, and then that'll get done. So, but it's
what was that? What was that word he was reaching for, Vanessa?
What?
What
the word?
He was reaching for a word. What was that word? You were like, "Oh, I'm the traveler" or something.
Oh, the hunter builds that a hard frame that supports the traveler, and it goes over the cockpit.
Yeah. Okay, I have one of those.
It causes a split cockpit, but it one of them, manufacturer has their own name for them, and they just called that a rigid traveler.
Rigid traveler. Okay.
Traveler.
It's a real fancy name.
Yeah,
rigid traveler.
I like that.
That's about when you could actually tie everything off in a cockpit as a reinforcement because it's built into the hull.
Yeah, it's a great system, and it makes it very hard to have an accidental job and get a boom smack. I mean, because you really got to be up. You got to do some serious maneuvering to get your head up there in the way of this boom.
Yeah. On my boat too. Yeah, I would have to be standing up on, But so Goose, I know you like to ask a lot of questions. So this is the panel right here to do that, Goose. These guys, I'm just gonna say it. Y'all know everything.
No. Okay, I have known Vanessa for a long time, and I'm telling you what, as I told you today, I think she's tops as far as knowledge and operation of boats. So if you have questions, everything I've ever had,
healthcare too,
she's been able to come up with an answer. And I mean, very sharp. I mean, one of the greatest lessons I learned from her. A funny story. I think I've even told it on here before.
Let's hear it.
She was doing a bottom job on my boat, and of course I'm out there trying to act busy. So I said, okay, I'll clean the prop. So I asked her. I said, should I scrape this prop, whatever? And she said, oh no, take some of that on and I'll put it on there. Of course, I said, okay. So I opened up the on and off, and I just kind of dribble it on there. You remember this?
You know this story.
And so I'm dribbling it on there. And she said, come on, Alice, put some on there. And so I'm like,
Alice.
that's when you're being a little timid or kind of not being aggressive. Have you never heard that? Yeah. So,
no, I heard that.
So I douse it. She said, all you got to do is put that on there. So then I go over to get the water hose to rinse it off, and I come back, and it's gone. The barnacles, all that stuff. So anyway, that's just one of many things I've learned from her. So when you talk about boat knowledge, she has a tremendous amount of skills.
I think you told me that when my boat was out of the water. I'm not sure it was on the podcast, but I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, on and off. Yeah.
After I just sanded it all off.
No, yeah. Yeah, don't waste my time. She has great knowledge on a lot of boat things, a lot.
So I did a little chat GPT, and chat GPT that came up with some questions. So the first one was how do you typically prepare your sailboat for a hurricane like Helene is approaching Key West. Is there anything you left out?
Yes.
Like, go ahead.
So you should always top off your water tanks. You want to weight the boat as much as you can. Make sure your fuel tanks are topped off. You want to also make sure that you've removed any flying objects from your deck, no matter how comfortable it is, without them being there. Stow them. Put them away. You don't need to be chasing them around.
Missiles. Yeah.
So that includes everything on your dock right next to your boat if you're tied up to a dock. So you don't
or
need
your
to be
dinghy
blowing it into your neighbors either.
Yeah. You remember
that
that
happened
one.
to John. Yeah.
Do a cursory check of your rigging and make sure that your rig is all set and it's doing well. And make sure that your lines are in good shape, that you're actually losing. The worst thing that you can do is lose a line in the middle of the night because you decided you were going to use that 5-year-old chafed 3-strand line because it looked like it might work.
Yep. Good advice.
Do. Because not only
so
will you stress about it, you'll blow a line, your boat will come loose, something will happen, you'll get hurt trying to fix it. Because once this breeze is blowing 20, 25 knots, it doesn't matter how strong you are, you're not going to fix it.
Nope. Time to go to the locker room and just wait. Yeah.
So it would have been a different story if you had a 3 come. You probably wouldn't be on your boats if there was a 3, would you? Well,
No.
At what point do you get off?
I get off at the beginning of 1 along with my dog, and we go check into a hotel or go to a friend's house because you pay your insurance for a reason. Once the blow starts and it's beyond a certain point, you cannot safely get on and off of the boat.
Yeah.
Right.
And if
I
you're
agree
on
with that.
and it's going wacko, life's short.
Time to go.
Yeah. Go to a hotel, go to a friend's house, go to a shelter, go somewhere that's safe, but you do that ahead of time. It's about preparation.
Yeah. I agree totally.
Yeah, I got caught with my pants down in Hurricane Sally.
And Scott was too with his pants down.
Yeah.
Sally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you? I think I told you, John. You know the movie Field of, we were talking about this
Field
the
of
other
Dreams.
day.
Yeah, Field of Dreams.
No, not Field of Dreams, but League of Their Own. League of
Oh
Their Own.
yeah, League of Their Own. Yeah.
There's no crying in baseball. You remember?
Oh yeah.
I started crying on the boat at like 3:00 in the morning when the water was coming in everywhere. And he goes, "There's no crying in sailing."
No. If you stay on, like Vanessa said, if you stay on a boat and you get into Cat 1 or above, then you need to be crying.
Yeah.
You need
crying and slapping yourself.
You need to be getting off
Goose.
What?
Yeah, Goose says, how do you even get insurance to keep a boat in Florida these days? Who wants to answer that one?
Vanessa.
It's difficult, but it's very doable, and it depends on who the insurance carrier is. But it's more important about who the broker is because the carriers are not allowing insurance to come through all brokers. So if you have a broker that's actually working with, that's got a good reputation and had a low risk, and they've been very good with their clients for a number of years, and you've got a good history and you've got a good background that's a clean history, you haven't had any claims or a lot of claims, you can get insurance still. There's a couple of new companies getting ready to come on the market as well, even for older boats.
All right.
This is the news I want to hear for Gulfront condos too. So,
There's still
yeah. Okay. So Goose, yes, you can get insurance. You just like they on my 1998 boat, I had insurance for the new boat after Hurricane Sally for a year, and then they said all of a sudden, no, we're not going to do your boat anymore. And I went to Geico, and I know John's not a fan of Geico, but all the companies were talking about, you know what they were asking? They were saying, will you be at the helm by yourself overnight or something? And I said, yes. And there were all the things I was going to fail on all these questions. And so I called Geico and I said, well, they didn't want to let me have insurance because of these things. And she goes, what are those things? I said, I don't want to tell you. She said, well, let's just get it out of the way. And I told her, she goes, we don't have a problem with that. You know, so it's okay for me to go make passages overnight by myself. So you have to ask those questions. I was like, what's the point?
Relative to your experience. So my boat, remember, is a 1985 full keel, 23 tons, I single hand ocean. I'm an
Yeah.
skipper, single hand.
Yeah.
And
Tell us what kind of boat it is.
so I have a William Garden CT42. I've owned it for 35 years.
Let me put this up here.
And I've sailed by myself halfway around the world with it, but I'm also a retired ocean racer, and I also work professionally in this industry for over 40 years.
Did you say William Garden?
Yes.
William Garden, and what's the size?
It's a CT42.
That's a big boat, John.
It's wonderful.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And if I get caught in a blow at sea, 65 knots and about 5.5 foot seas, it's very comfortable. You put up what's
That's
called
not it.
a jigger. You put up your mizzen. You put up your jib, and not a Genoa, but a jib. Also have a staysail, but you put up a jib and jigger. You put the shoulder in, and you dig in, and you just go. It's very comfortable.
Oh, look at this. Goose. You have the names of good brokers in Florida. Well, it just so happens.
Vanessa is a good broker in Florida.
That's right.
I've known her
Vanessa.
for years, and she is a good broker in Florida.
So do you want
She knows
charter
everything.
brokers, do you want charter brokers, or boat brokers, or do you want insurance brokers?
Oh,
Yeah,
good question.
yep. Yeah, well, and while we're on the insurance thing, Vanessa might know this. Believe it or not, I kind of roll the dice. I have not maintained whole insurance. I just did the liability that's required by the marina, but I had to do full coverage. I was in Marathon and wanted to do a haul out to change out a through hole valve. I've done so many, or not so many, but a half a dozen in the water. I'm getting a little old for all that excitement, so I said, okay. I took a lunch hour thing. They have a $178 special at Marathon, and I needed to change out the air conditioner through hole. So I did that, but they did require insurance. So I had to call. I have mine with Progressive, believe it or not. And I called Progressive, and when Vanessa first sold me this boat years ago, it was to get full insurance was $4,400 or something. Then I got it this time. They added on full coverage for $1,400 extra, and I was like, okay, do y'all hear what I'm saying? I said I need full coverage, and they did. So why has that much changed over that many years?
John, how long have you had that boat?
So what, 10 years?
I think it's more than.
Yeah, maybe so.
But it's called depreciation factor.
Yeah.
It's called valuation that's gone down. You haven't had any claims to speak of, and you've got a good following on it, so it makes it easy.
Okay, so but I was really shocked because when you and I first got together and we got this boat, I got this boat. I was thinking it was $4,200 extra for the full coverage. So okay, that explains it.
But you didn't have a history.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you don't have a history, John?
I didn't at that time. I have history now.
I have a
so good. We all have histories.
Whether it's bad or good, I have history.
So Goose says both. He wants both. He wants an insurance broker and a boat broker.
Well, I'd love to help you out. Goose is a boat broker. I got a heck of an Island Packet 485 listed right now. It's actually looked at it.
He's a fan. He used to have an Island Packet. Your face is kind of in the shadows. We need to get your
the sun just went down here.
There we go.
The sun is down.
You looked all mysterious and everything. Yeah, I think he had a Island Packet 370. Is that or 37? Is that right, Goose? Anyway, he'll tell us.
I've got an Island Packet 485 that's on the market. It's a 10 out of a 10. It just got brand new mate and brand new sales that were delivered today.
And it's in Jacksonville.
It's a 2005. Look it up on Yacht World. The name of the boat is EOS. And it is a 9.9, depending on how much of a perfectionist you are, to a 10. And it's being sold as that. But it just had a price reduction. And it's down to $4,700.
Woo! What a deal. Yeah, I interviewed them.
This boat and go around the world. It's had every upgrade that's been done to it that can be done.
So hopefully Goose is making his recovery. Let's see. What else do I have here?
And Goose, if you want to get it from Tampa, you can get my number, and I'd be happy to share insurance brokers with you.
Yeah, Goose is he's writing this from Facebook. So your email address is which one do you use?
The best one is Cassie, CASSIEKW at AOL.com.
Let me put that in there.
The oldie but the goodie.
Goose. All right, let me put that up there. It's CASS. Hold on. Having trouble with capitals here. Oh goodness. CASSIEKW
at AOL.com.
She's old school.
Vanessa at EdwardJohnSales.com, but it'll probably go away. Who knows?
There we go. Goose, there's your contact right there. For everything you want to know about, he's an Island Packet fan because he had one. So I think he wants another Island Packet. That's how I met him. It's on the Island Packet Facebook page. Okay. All right. So hopefully you get a call from Goose. What are the common mistakes you've seen other boat owners make when preparing for hurricanes?
Old line. Those old lines.
Are you going to answer that, or are we supposed to?
Yeah, stay on the boat during the tube. People always ask me, "Are you going to do that again?" I go, well, "I didn't mean to the first time."
So, Tinsley, do you remember talking to me in the middle of that?
I remember talking to John. Was I talking to you too?
Yeah, you talked to both of us. You talked to both of us during that.
Oh, really? What was your feedback on that, Vanessa?
What the hell are you doing? Get your ass off the boat.
She was a little more blunt than I was.
I didn't save the boat.
Well,
yeah, it was.
You were asking me questions about how to make the water stop running in places. I would tell you where to look for it and how to make it, what to do with it.
Yeah.
It was breaking my heart. It was just breaking my heart. I was like, that's when I was like, and Scott said, "No, there's no crying and sailing." Yeah. All right. So, how did you? So, I guess what the bottom line is, get off the boat if it's a one, right?
I think a big thing in that, and Vanessa and I both, in talking with you that night when Sally came in, is you're going to have a ton of forecasts, and don't, when you see one forecast that says they say it's only going to be 45 knots here, factor in everything you can and constantly update those reports and forecasts, because what was good 48 hours ago is totally changed when you're 24 hours out. And I think you definitely saw that in Sally, because I actually underguessed it too, because you said they're talking 35 or 45, and I looked down, I said, I think you're going to get 75 and 80s. I don't know what Vanessa was telling you. Vanessa was saying, get the hell off the boat, which was the best. That's the wisdom. And then it obviously went well over 100. And so I think the best thing is to don't rely totally on one forecast. Keep updating your reports, and just don't try to ride something out that's tie it up as best you can and get the hell out of the way.
And it was supposed to be going to Louisiana, so I was just there for storm surge, and it just turned into something. And I didn't want to give up on it.
And you got to remember, your forecast is also situational and geographical. It's like Key West is a perfect example. We have 39 inches of rain annually. Miami has 171 inches. How many times watching the news and watching the weather report, and they're telling you how wet it is on that tropical update, and we're sitting down here with no rain?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to realize that you've also got to do some digging where you are located in your boat at that specific time to get your accurate weather reports as well, and you never rely on one. So sometimes it's beneficial to get an oceanographic weather report as well as a meteorological weather report, because you can see what's happening with wind and with waves, and that's usually your precursor to what's happening with
passage weather.
Well, there's buoy weather, there's passage weather, there's wind finder, there's actually windy. I swear by windy TY if you're going to be in open water. And I also swear by buoy weather, but you're able to actually attribute that directly to the GFS models, the no gaps models, Medio France, the European models, and you're able to make your own educated decision on it.
John likes European, don't you?
I do
Well,
too.
I don't know. They say European's the most accurate. I don't know. What do you used to know, Vanessa?
European's most accurate, and I got to tell you, ocean racing,
Yeah.
it was always Medio France.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Goose says we can always count on Goose here. 370. I've had a Creolock 37, a Malo 40, and the 370. I guess it's an IP, and a Vanguard 471 design racer in college. And then, but he says I'm going to stay with the 32 or 37 foot range in shallow
That's
draft.
very
IP.
findable for you. Contact me. That's very findable. I know where there's a couple 380s out there right now.
Oh, did you hear that? Goose, talk to me, Goose.
Well, 37's his limit, but he might have to stretch it.
Well,
okay.
there's a 34 also where I know of. So, but it's not in as good a shape as the couple of 380s are right now. So, and I was a 470 racer. I worked on a 1986 Olympic campaign in the 470s.
Well, that's cool.
The
Okay.
very first money I ever made off a boat was building a 470 to the French Olympic team.
There was somebody that asked me that they wanted me to set up a debate, but it wouldn't take very long to debate this. Full keel, it's like Island Packet versus Catalina.
You know where my vote's going. My vote.
Well,
I don't like them.
What pros and cons?
Go, John.
Well, my pro, I like to be able to turn on a dime. I like to be able to maneuver better. Okay, go ahead. That's my.
Okay, so
that's it.
So full keel, stability, riding moment, open water, handling seas, handling breezes, but yet being able to move in light wind. And can you turn on a dime? You can turn on a dime, but it takes you a lot of homework to learn how to do that.
I can do it.
Yep. There you go. Okay.
I've gotten good at it.
Bill, when you're
I don't like study hall, so I'm not going to do homework. I'm gonna stick with my 100-306.
What's the proper term, Vanessa and John? When I go forward and then I put it in reverse, and then I turn, and it turns on its axis.
Back and fill.
I feel like a boss when I do that.
Back and fill.
What is it called?
It's called backing and filling.
Backing and filling. Okay.
Fill. Back and fill. Back and fill.
Yeah. So you put it in reverse and it turns, and then when you feel it start to stop, you put it in neutral, and then very gently put it in forward, and it keeps going, and it turns like this. So yeah.
I go out, and I throw it hard to port or hard to starboard, and I turn and I go. So,
well, okay. So what's
y'all
the
are
difference
doing all
between
that backing and filling stuff? I'm on my way.
What's the difference between in rough waves?
I don't know.
Huh?
Massive. And John's good about it. You know, he knows the parameters and he knows the limitations that he's got with his boat, so that's what he's comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants to be a coastwise, potentially round the buoys racer that could actually be able to, potentially, I said potentially, that he could take off in a bullet shot, anywhere from 6 knots of breeze all the way up to 25 and still be good with it. But with a full keel, when you've got waves, you're going to actually do some cutting through them if you're on the right plane and you have the right, your sails are set properly and you're actually handling your conditions correctly. I mean, I've been in a couple of different boats, a couple of different times when we had weather that picked up and you couldn't go anywhere. You had to deal with it.
Yeah.
And
remember when we were coming back across from Everglades City I was going to Marathon, you were going to the bridge. He was like,
you're talking to me. Yeah.
Whipping my butt. He was whipping my ass. He was like, he was gone. We were going into the waves. We were beating into the waves, weren't we, John? We into the waves and win?
Yeah, we were kind of pretty much into the quarter into the waves.
He left me in the dust.
Well, you got to cut through him. He's going to be over the top of him, and he's also going to be bouncier.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Okay.
if you got a
I'm
neck,
a much lighter boat. I'm a
Yeah.
much lighter boat.
and if you got a neck injury or a back injury, you don't want a fin keel. You want a toe keel.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, and let's ask. Yeah, okay, so that was my question. So let's ask Vanessa about we could have made margaritas with the salt that was on our boats. I've never seen
Oh
anything
yeah,
like
yeah.
it.
I've researched this and I cannot get an answer for it. We had salt and the texture
It's like you could
was almost
scrape it
like
off.
ice cream salt. The spray, I mean, it was unbelievably heavy of the texture. And for the life of me, I've tried to
I've
figure out
never
why.
seen it before.
in the corner of the Gulf.
The
And
it was
yeah,
it was in the
southwest,
Florida
southeast
Bay.
corner of the Gulf.
So you do realize that part of the history of Key West came from what were called the salt marshes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Riviera Canal and the whole area over off of the back of the salt ponds. That was part of the main $1 million businesses here back, before the
She knows, doesn't she?
Right.
salt pond. And it was our ocean water with the salinity level, and it's because of the high heat. It's the transference from the four currents that come in from the Yucatan and actually from the Straits of Florida that build that up. Now, as pollution has taken over, and we've had a lot more shoreside pollutants, we don't keep that salt level as much on the Atlantic side here in Key West as we do on the backside in the Gulf. You have a lot of natural reservoirs. You have a lot of natural water that mixes with that high salinity level water back
Unbelievable. Her knowledge is unbelievable, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
And as the heat rises and the temperature changes, especially in the wintertime, you're going to see a lot more of that salt spray, and it's amazing.
Well, it was
Okay,
probably
that's good.
was it
I
December?
knew you'd have
or
a good
something?
answer. What?
December, November. When was that? It was September.
I don't know.
Can't
remember.
It was probably from the fall going into the winter, or else it was the spring going into the fall.
Yeah, let's see.
It's the heaviest.
Yeah, it was fall going into the winter, I think.
And
Yeah.
that's when we get more fresh water that's actually aquifer fed, that actually comes up to the surfaces, that pushes that salt water up, that actually makes that happen.
What an answer. Oh my gosh. All right. So Goose says, I campaigned the 470 and the 72 Olympic trials. Wow. Wet sanding holes with 1,000 grit. Oh.
Yeah.
This dude is he could hang with you guys. So I want to throw this in here. That I told you last night that I was getting Kirsten
Neuschaffer.
Neuschafer.
Oh boy.
On the
Don't
October
drink
9th.
and try to say that.
She's gonna be amazing. Goose, you got to watch that.
Who? I thought that Vanessa, you were involved with the 470 on the limit, right? Or was it Goose?
In Busan, in Busan, Korea, but I had an accident before it.
Okay. So Goose was involved with that as well.
No, it was I had a surfing accident.
Okay.
And I busted.
Okay, if you had the surfing, okay. That's what I was thinking. Okay. Then
What happened?
You were the one that was involved with the 470 and the 72 Olympics. Okay.
I was involved in 470s in the 86 Olympics, but I had an accident, a surfing accident before that screwed me up.
What Olympics? Which one?
86. Busan.
Oh my gosh. So Goose was in the Olympic trials and you were in the Olympic trials?
I did a lot going up in 470s and 420s. Actually, I was a class racer for Stars, Yinglings, 5.5s, Etchels, 470s, 420s. I did Sunfish and still do Sunfish Masters, but I haven't done them lately.
Yeah, you and Goose might have crossed paths somewhere.
I'm a youngster for him. If he did 72, I was 86. But yeah, I was the youngster that was actually sailing around with a lot of the folks in 5.5s and stuff like that. I mean, I sailed with King Olav V, so in 5.5. So, and I was a baby, so 5.5s, and he was still alive. Tells you when.
What after the storm passes, what are the first things you check on your boat to ensure everything is intact?
Go ahead, Vanessa.
Well, since I'm going to be staying aboard in this little blow, it's going to be a little bit different. Normally, when I can come back, the very first thing I would do is I would barrel below and I would look real quickly at my bilge. The very first thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to be here, I'm going to hear my bilge pump, but you always also want to check your float switch ahead of time, check your bilge pump ahead of time, make sure everything's good. And when you fill up your fresh water tank, if you've got a little overflow system, that's the time to hear that. So, and I did that, but I carry 350 gallons of water. It makes a difference for the stability.
Wow.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
I'm only 40. I'm only 40, so she's huge.
But you've got fuel and water actually split up, so you still want to fill your tanks actually for that stability.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You're always going to look at your bilge. You're always going to look back at your rudder post because things can hit your rudder and hit your rudder post, and you get water coming in the boat trickling in. That's where it actually comes from, debris in the water a lot of times. So when the boat's moving around, check your rigging, check your mast step, check the base of your mast, and then always go back and look at your lines and see if anybody's gotten massively frayed or tattered and time to replace them.
And also see if anybody's boat is on your boat.
Well, that right.
Make sure your neighbors are okay.
Yeah.
Tell the folks where you are, Vanessa.
So I am at the Perry Marina on Coconut Row, but I
love that name. Coconut Row.
Yeah.
I am facing south by south-southeast.
That's too many souths.
Yeah,
you can only use two in a direction.
South, southeast.
I'm directly exposed off of the entrance of the Stock Island Channel entrance, where I still get a little bit of the wave pattern. So I'm halfway down the row, and the Australian pines that are right across from me on the row coming into Robbie's Marina, that Robbie's is doing a no-no and trying to strip them out.
Oh, okay.
That's always been our protection from hurricanes right here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That row is huge. And they're going to take them down? They're going to take them down?
They're trying to gradually do some things without letting people notice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make a stink about it?
A lot of people already have.
But did they ever figure out why that boat burned? I mean, was it what you thought it was?
Yes, it was lithium batteries.
Yeah, lithium.
The bike the e-bike had fallen into the water, right?
The e-bike had fallen into the water. They pulled it out of the water. They took the battery out of the bike, and they had the battery charging off of the edge of the doorway going in above where the electrical panel was, and it had been wet with salt water.
It's gone. It's toast.
It burned to the water line and took a lady and her dog along with it, and it was very sad.
Yeah, that was sad. So what's the moral of that story?
Don't use lithium batteries in a high heat climate. They're not worthy, and they don't want to insure them.
Hey, man, I will I'll add on the /captain on that. There's a good reason why lithium batteries are not allowed on any aircraft, especially a Boeing. We can on the Boeing 737. You cannot put a lithium battery on there. If this is something everybody blows off. You talk about checking your luggage and all that. You're not supposed to have lithium batteries all in that.
Yeah, they ask. Right.
And I mean, everybody, they ask that, they say that, but everybody didn't. They blow by. But like Vanessa says, lithium batteries are bad.
Yeah.
I
mean, aren't they on our phones?
Everybody's wanting to have a lithium battery set up on their boats. They're paying a lot of money for it, but I got to tell you, you got to pay attention to what's happening with high heat, like a climate like what we have here in the Keys. You got to pay attention to why those batteries are off gassing and why those batteries are catching on fire, even if they've been done professionally in an environment like this in the summertime. I've got 3 boats that I've managed and maintained and looked after, and all 3 of those had lithium batteries. And at some point in time, not under my watch, 2 of those 3 boats caught on fire. Woo! Off gas like crazy. And I called the owner and said, these are off gassing like crazy. And I had to open the whole boat up. The CO2 alarms are going off like crazy. Oh. The chargers are heating up. The batteries are heating up. And you can't get them down below their ambient temperature when the air temperature is up at where their ambient temperature is.
Tinsley's not going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, she's
Well,
on.
She's
My-
not gonna sleep. She's not gonna
My
sleep good
guys
tonight.
told me that I have the Rolls Royce of lithium batteries. Like you really, even on those e-bikes, you cannot get those cheap. When you buy a used e-bike, you just can't do that, because the cheap Chinese, sorry Chinese, but the cheap Chinese lithium batteries, right? I mean, doesn't it matter what kind of lithium battery you buy?
It does matter what kind of lithium battery you buy, but they still have to keep doing some more homework on them in the high heat environments, because
Gotcha.
the insurance companies do not want to insure boats with lithium batteries now.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no
When it comes to sailboat design, what features are must-haves for you, especially for living aboard full-time in a place like Key West?
Go, John.
Go,
Oh,
John.
me? Oh,
Yeah.
for living. Well, obviously air conditioning for one, and then for actual, but my things. I like an open stern because I like to pull in and go out the back of the boat. And when Vanessa first, told me about this boat, I forgot how it came up that I was looking for, a different boat, and she had this one, and I like, God, that's perfect because I like the open stern, I like air conditioning, I like a full bimini top, which this one has a really huge bimini top. And then I'm old enough and lazy, and I've had really good luck with them because I know how to operate them. I like a furling main, and this one had that. So it just had those were the biggies I look for. And of course, obviously an autopilot. And then as I've gotten older, I've added a remote for my autopilot, so I don't even have to get up anywhere I'm sitting on the
I know,
boat.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So
He sits up there and he's just like,
yeah. I mean, if so those are the things I look for a lot of the lazy things, but I do like the open stern. I like the full bimini top and a furling main. Now,
What about you,
Vanessa?
Well, you specified living aboard, not necessarily going out sailing a whole lot. So living aboard to
Right.
me, a big, huge thing is at least 2 staterooms. 2 heads is nice.
Yeah.
2 staterooms is a must. I like to have a galley that I can actually cook in because I enjoy cooking.
Oh.
And I want my berth to be aft, and I want it big. And so I have a king and a half.
Say that again. You want what?
I want it to be big. I want it to have plenty of space.
Oh,
If I have
okay. Like a condo on the water.
if I want to have 2 dogs that I'm babysitting sleep in the bed with me along with my dog, I want dogs in the bed.
So a big aft berth. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So mine's a king and a half. It's on the thwart ships. So it's also
king and a half. Really?
what side of the boat that's on, because if a boat has a predominant way it's going to move, I don't want to roll out of bed even underway. I want to be able to adjust to my conditions.
Right. Okay.
Well, Ralph, who's from Orange Beach, but on his boat in Curacao, he says, "Great video." He's a sailor. He's been sailing around the world. Thanks, Ralph. I thank you for commenting. So, is there anything you guys want to cover about the hurricane or sailboats or anything? I might have run out of questions.
I think we've been very fortunate here. You have to watch these things for 2 weeks when this one came out of the Caribbean, but then a lot of times out of the Atlantic. You watch them for so long, and then it comes down to 50 miles makes a huge difference. We watched.
Yeah, let's talk about what it's going to do to me.
Well, at the moment, if you follow the tracks and the forecast and all the models, you're okay because you're going to be on the west side and the good side. But as you know from Sally, things can drastically change.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
Vanessa and I will ride out another one here with, like Vanessa said earlier in the podcast, be tied up and ready for it, to double in size. You got to be ready for it to really strengthen. So, right now we're riding it out. We look like we're going to be pretty good, but we're prepared in case it kicked up to 80, 90, or 100 knots.
Because once it does, you can't do anything about that. And you learn that the hard way, essentially.
Oh yeah, when the lines broke, it was so difficult. We sit there, we were like trying to get those lines back over it was so hard to pull the boat. It's impossible.
No,
like
no,
pull,
you're
to pull
too late.
the boat.
You're too late.
Yeah.
you're going to get hurt doing it, and
Yeah.
that's
I
that's
threw up.
Yeah, I
was like,
remember that
Scott
picture
goes,
of
hurry up, hurry, put the light on it. And I go, I'm throwing up.
I remember a picture, and I think Vanessa was a little more stern. She was being the better parent at that time than I was, but I mean, I remember because she was, definitely you got to get off the boat. But I remember seeing the picture of Salty Scotty waist deep in the water with the winds going like that, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, he was. He stepped off on the finger pier, and it was up to his chest.
Yeah. So
yeah, and I never got to see that, but Tinsley, you told me that, and I said, and I immediately said, "What the hell are you doing? Get back on the boat.
yeah,
You don't know what's going on with the electricity."
yeah.
I was so sad. So what do you think it's gonna do? You think it's gonna hit around Apalachicola?
Yeah. That's kind of the plan now, right around there. But
Yeah, I don't. I'm still debating on that.
yeah,
It's
there's
gonna be
still
a
a lot of
3.
like Vanessa said earlier. You get into that questionable zone out here with the next few hours. So a lot of things can happen.
It has the potential of having this warble smack in the middle of the Gulf, and it's looking like it's starting to try to take that shape a little tiny bit. And
Yeah.
if you look at the precursors of the wind and also look at what the current's doing around there, pull up some high comms actually on the NOAA maps or on something like that, and you can actually see that
I'll pull up passage weather.
You can go to buoy weather.
Is this okay?
Yeah, the buoy weather is really good
because that's got all the models on it separately. You can also go to windy, and you can pick up your wind models, which they have merged those with like the ECMWF as well as the GFS. So you can see the merge of that, and you can see the progression of it. So they utilize some of the oceanographic models with it as well.
Look at this, 5 to 6 meters.
Yeah. And they're still saying Tallahassee.
6 to 8.
Yeah, that's if you go
really?
with the models and what the NHC has. You're looking at Apalachicola, Tallahassee, but like Vanessa said, don't it's below you. And as an old guy once said, it doesn't turn until it turns. I mean,
who said that?
It's I heard some old guy say that one day, and it said hurricanes, they don't turn until they turn. So you're all basing on this thing turning. Right now, this thing is headed directly at you.
Yeah.
So
this is tomorrow at noon, UTC time, and then Friday. When do you think it's going to hit land?
I don't know.
Oh,
I think it's going to. Actually, it might even be Thursday night late.
Yeah, I think it's Thursday night late when it'll be at landfall.
We're talking
that's tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're talking like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I got a sneaky suspicion it's going to slow down just a tiny bit, and that's when it's going to take warble, and it's going to come in as a Cat 1 to a Cat 2.
Okay. All right.
But there's a pressure gradient coming across the middle of the Gulf that you can actually see that's going to dip down, and that's going to affect the warble. And if you look at the timing on that, it looks to be like it's going to kick it in the teeth just a little bit, which is good. But it's actually going to increase the wind field on the right side.
Okay.
So more of Florida's going to get hit.
I told you she was full of wisdom and knowledge.
She's full of something. Fresh to Salty says, hey, they've been on the podcast. Yeah, so you guys are fine. It's going to be, would you think I'll have the same, let's see, what are the winds saying? It's going to be 25 to 30. You think that's what we'll get?
If I were guessing, what you'd have is out of the north, 20, 25, is, maybe. But about a shift to the west a little bit, and things totally change.
Don't take your eye off of it.
No.
Don't watch the Weather Channel, though, right?
No. like Lindsay referred, Vanessa referred to it earlier on. That factor in, get every bit of you can. We both talked about that. Get all the information you can, weather sources, Don't rely on
Right.
just the Weather Channel says so and so. Don't just and don't
They exaggerate
take it
so much.
and don't take it 3 days out and then don't look at it again. Keep looking at
No.
And they're politically motivated. They're
it.
motivated
Uh-huh.
to get people
Oh,
to
yeah.
go shopping. And you know,
It's
not
Hollywood. It's Hollywood.
sorry, but the weather is not about the economics.
Exactly.
Weather will, as a boater, weather will make you be poor.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're gonna
Well,
pay
fresh,
anything for the insurance to protect you, or you're gonna pay out of the yin yang to fix it when it's done.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
And on that note, a little plug. If you need some fixing, nobody's better than Vanessa.
oh, Vanessa can do anything.
I've seen
She'll
her
drive
do,
the train.
I've seen
and
her
then
do
Key
so
West.
many projects.
She'll help you buy a boat. She'll help you find out insurance. She'll help you know about your broken ankle. She'll know, she'll know about the hurricane.
Yeah.
Motor
No, I
vessel
say that. I
intrigue
say that
I've had
seriously.
a life, and I've
What?
lived
Well, yeah. I mean, it
really
comes with
great life,
experience.
and I've
If you get
You
enough
retain a lot.
experience, you learn things. And but I mean, I've observed her knowledge for a long time, and I mean, it's just like, damn, I didn't know how to do it. You know, it really is. She is a good fixer, a good operator, and a good boat dealer.
and I like to teach.
Broker.
I like to get people to understand how to do what they got to do to their boats.
Oh yeah.
Well,
And
she
so
actually can
this
drive
is
a
Mike's
train
weather
good.
page is pretty good. Yeah, she drives the train.
She drives
you
the
might
train
see her-
really good.
You might see her on the conch train down here.
Yep.
So it says Mike's weather page is pretty good.
Mike's
Yeah,
weather
yeah,
page.
that's a good source.
He does some. He's unfortunately sometimes gets lost up in the last minute.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, he's
I knew
hard.
you'd have an opinion.
Well, they're like dazzle. But he does a great job. But one of the hard parts about him is that he's trying to cover a vast amount of space for everybody. And so the last
The
minute,
Caribbean.
yeah, when you need to get something detailed, it's hard to get right where you are unless he's on top of it.
Yeah.
All right. Fresh and Salty says Mr. Weatherman Shields is a pretty good one. I don't know who that is. Do you?
I don't either.
Anybody?
I don't know.
What is that? A website?
I've never heard of it, so I don't know.
Okay.
I know I like looking at the models, and I know I like looking at the models directly, and I also know that I like looking at the oceanographic models and looking at the HICOMs to figure things out. HICOMs
John likes to look at the original where it comes from.
and the 500 millimeter maps.
Yep, and I'm like Vanessa. I like to look at the models. I like to look at because you see the wide range of opinions when you see the models and all that. So it's good.
Right.
And then you look at which models are accurate. You go off your levels on them, and that's how you determine which ones you're going to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you both agree that the European model is the most accurate.
Absolutely.
I hear people say that it is. I don't know. What do you know? Vanessa, do you have an opinion on that? I hear more people say they put their faith in Euro.
So I minored in meteorology, retired ocean racer, and one of my best friends.
Oh, you did not. Of course you did.
I did. Meteorology. Vector analysis ate my lunch, so I didn't major in it.
Okay.
So she's saying.
So what's your favorite model? What's your favorite? What do you put your most faith on?
The European models. The European models. It's been my experience, especially out at sea, that the European models in the Atlantic Basin and actually over off of mainland Europe and in the Caribbean as well are all close to 92 to 98% accurate.
Right.
That's pretty good.
Dang.
Yeah. And you do that with a 500 millibar map, and then you actually look at your HICOMs along with that, and you're usually pretty close to spot on.
Yeah. Okay. And the Euro's still in black. That's the black one, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Within 8 to 10 hours.
Within what?
Within 8 to 10 hours. And if I'm
okay, good. Yeah.
If I'm 380 and 420 miles out at sea and I'm getting ready to get my tail kicked, that's a model I want to see.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's
so
what I
Fresh Salty says YouTube. He's a meteorologist on YouTube, and he covers the Caribbean and covers all the models. And then Florida Buckeyes says, just log it in. Are you
Tarpon Springs going to get wet? Tarpon Springs will get wet.
Where you are, you should be.
Yeah, Tarpon
So
Springs will be.
there was a phenomenal guy on the single sideband that we used to use when we were doing transits out at sea. His name was Southbound too. It was Herb Holland, and he was a Canadian guy that was living in Bermuda.
Oh wow!
And
Okay.
he swore by the European models as well. But Herb, he was spot on always. He
Really?
would talk to find out what your present position was and actually be able to come back on. People would wait in line on the single sideband in the morning to be able to talk to Southbound to find out what he had to say about when their wind
Really?
direction. Oh yeah.
Wow. God,
Yeah.
Who
that's
is
awesome.
this?
Southbound too. Herb
Southbound.
Hall.
Or how do you get him? Single sideband.
Single sideband used to be, but he got kicked out of Bermuda because they thought they had somebody that could do the job he did, and they're not. So he moved back to Canada, and
That figures.
I've lost touch with whatever happened, but I think he passed away.
Oh.
Oh my.
Well, Florida Buckeyes and Motor Vessel Intrigue needs to get out of the way because that's right where it's going, right? That's
Yeah.
the dirty side of the hurricane.
Is the Florida Buckeye on the? Is he on? Because we kind of jumped on him since we were SEC people the first time. But yeah, the Florida Buckeye, the Ohio State's had a great program for many years as well. I go back to the Woody Hayes days, as he well remembered, and so I have the utmost respect for the Ohio State program.
Yeah.
So we kind of jumped in. You and me double teamed him last time he was on.
Yeah, we'll
You
see
were
if he
Bama,
says
I was
anything.
Georgia. We were roughing him up.
Roll Tide.
So, looks like it's going to be getting Category 1 strength breezes on a pretty steady basis. They're going to be on a really dirty side, but that breeze and everything that's there in Tarpon Springs, that looks like it is going to start as soon as.
When's it going to start?
They're going to start. They're going to start getting breezes out of the east. When you start seeing those around 2025, it's going to pick up pretty quick when that happens. And it looks like it's going to be midday tomorrow that they're really going to be getting whaled on.
Get all the lines on by midday.
Out of the southeast first, and you're going to have it whaling out of the southeast quite a bit.
Whaling. I like that.
Whaling. And then because it's going to go from 25 to literally like 60, bam. Out of the south.
Tell Florida, I hate to say this, tell Florida Buckeye, I-O. I've never said that in my life. He sent in the OH, I'll send in the I-O.
OH.
Don't tell anybody in the SEC that I said that, okay? Now back to Vanessa's great weather stuff. I'm sorry.
Well, is that some fighting words or something?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. OH, I-O. Okay, now, okay. I had to support Florida Buckeye on that. Okay, now I'm sorry to interrupt Vanessa because she was giving some really great stuff and we were talking football crap.
Yeah, okay. You need to have your boats tied up. You need to have your boats tied up by midday.
Get that done by midday tomorrow because it's only going to morning. Yeah, it's going to look like it's out of about 20 knots, and then it's going to pick up literally within an hour and go 20 to 20. And
what is this?
You want to be secured out of southeast. So pay attention out of southeast. But, you know, the other thing that's most important that nobody's remembering with this one.
What's
You've
that?
got to pay attention to what's going to happen with this tidal surge. Because the tidal surge, even though you're not directly in its path and you're not directly hit, the direction that the wind is flowing and it's pushing the water out of this is what's going to do
pile up the water.
Coast. It's going to pile up. And so as it's going up the coast of Florida, that pileup is what's going to start becoming significant. And remember, you got to have your lines paid attention to so that you can handle that tide.
Yeah.
And in my case, it's going to be pushing it out.
Pushing it out.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're talking anywhere from probably 4 to 8 feet on your tidal surge.
You're talking about Tampa Bay area, like Tampa Bay area, yeah.
North of that.
Tarpon Springs. Tarpon Springs.
Yeah. Even with it dropping down to a Cat 1 because it's so big, it's pushed so much water in already.
Oh yeah.
That's what we've got to watch right here. And I got to tell you, I went out and I rode along the south side of the island just a little while ago, taking my puppy on a car ride. And South Roosevelt's already flooded, and we're only supposed to have 1 to 3. But we got that water that's been pushing in out of the southeast with this breeze for so long now. Once it comes out of the south, we're probably going to have a 3-foot tidal surge here. And we only had
Come over here on the north side. It's dry over here.
Remember, you only got the bridge got to funnel through.
I know.
So you'll get wet at the southernmost point, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're wet at southernmost. Yeah, everybody over there is getting wet.
There'll be a splash or two down there.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
it
they're
was-
gonna get it at low tide.
It was over the beach road actually at 5 o'clock.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
The wind's supposed to be strongest at 5:30 tomorrow. He says, would the wind overtake the tide, make it go higher, or would the low tide help us? Well, not at 10 o'clock because it's gonna be going up.
It's going to be
Right?
going up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it. When it looks like it, unless this little pressure gradient in the middle of the Gulf where it takes this little warble slows it down a lot longer than what it's supposed to, which you don't want to do because it's going to have the capability of building a little bit. Then it's gonna. You got 5 to 8. I think you're looking at over there along Tarpon Springs area.
Right.
Oh yeah, easily 5 days. Yeah.
And that's
Fresh
just
to
push.
salty. So glad we're on the Indian River. I think y'all are in. Is it? Where are you? Where are you? Fresh to salt. They were in the Bahamas, but let's see. He says
If
we talk.
you're far enough up the Indian River, you're okay, but down toward the coast, it'll be bad.
Yeah, Tarpon Springs around 10 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would drink to that. I am now.
Ginger ale.
Are you driving the train in the morning?
No, you're closed.
What?
Melbourne.
Close. Okay. Good.
That's East Coast. You think they're going to get anything in Melbourne?
I think they're going to get some breeze and they're going to get some stuff on the backside of this. Yeah, we're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Y'all keep talking. I'm coughing.
We're on the East Coast.
Look. All right, yeah, we got to take over while she coughs. Okay. But, yeah, the little wind and rain over there and some breeze and surfers. Surfers will probably like it. They'll probably like it. I think there's enough coming in from the southeast.
As it comes up and it goes across from Port St. Lucie, actually almost all the way up to Myrtle Beach, you're going to have some breezes and some conditions.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be the Georgia and South Carolina coast.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go all the way up to Hatteras before it really drops below 30 knots.
Yeah,
I mean,
they'll get some erosion and stuff up there. And surfers will love it. Yeah. Oh, she's back.
I guess we won't have any surfers here.
Why not?
Here, cheers.
It's April.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. I guess that's it. Anything you wanted to spread any more wisdom that you guys have? I mean, you guys have so much wisdom.
Vanessa can spread wisdom and knowledge all night long.
So be thick.
You think I'm her agent, but I just know she has a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. So you can go all night long.
I'm going to tell you this again. Me and elephants, we have something in common. One day,
all right,
your head and get rid of all that existential crap.
Fresh to Salties says 35 knots sustained and gusts to 50. They are predicting in Melbourne.
That's right here. Where?
In Melbourne.
Oh, Melbourne, really? Yeah. I wouldn't. I don't know. Well, I guess they are. I wouldn't think they'd get any 50s there, but they might. But
as this crosses across, once again, the dirty side of this that's going to be taking care of the whole west coast of Florida as it comes up. If you look at the way that this thing is actually going to grow and you look at how it's going to move, that dirty side is already going to be across the state and into Georgia, just as that eye wall is coming up into the state. Around. And that's the problem. That dirty stuff over there, that you're not talking about anything more than 40 knots, but it's coming out of the south.
Yeah.
They're not accustomed to that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Well, here it is. This is someone knocking on your boat?
Oh, no, it was just me knocking on the table.
Oh, okay. So, All right. So he's asking me if I put the boat up on the hard. No. I think I'll be the least affected. But Florida Buckeyes needs to worry about it a little bit. I hope his boat's okay.
Yeah, where's he located? I'm sorry, I didn't catch
Tarpon
that.
Springs.
Oh, Florida. Oh my Lord. Yeah, that's that could be interesting there. As Vanessa was covering earlier, that's. But Tampa seems to always avoid it. Most of Tampa.
Well, we're in
you
the
go into
bullseye here.
You can go into the old Indian mounds and the Indian graves or whatever it takes, but they seem to fight them off down there.
They got a lot of sponges there.
Yeah. But like Vanessa said, you're gonna get that surge.
A lot of Greeks too.
That surge is gonna be huge. Even if you don't get the wind damage, that surge is going to be huge there because it's been going, like she said, for so long. I mean, this thing's moving along for so long. You push a lot of water. We can't see that, but it pushes a lot of water.
And that water's got nowhere else to go up there other than right on the cusp, and that's where it's headed. And
water's heavy. It hurts, and it's powerful.
It hurts. Here's where. Let's go to mRNA. It hurts.
Yeah.
So this is midnight UTC time. That's about, what is that? 7 o'clock or something Eastern time.
UTC is 4 hour different now. So what's that?
Okay.
8? So yeah.
So Florida Buckeyes. This is what you're looking at tomorrow about 8 p.m. tomorrow.
So this is 8 p.m. I'm going to turn my picture around for a second. This is windy at 8 p.m.
All right, let me take it off.
And while she's doing that, we just had 34 knots gust out at the airport here in Key West. So
you guys are so good at monitoring everything.
We should get up, some a little stronger later. So.
And what is that, Vanessa? What time is that?
That is at 8 o'clock tomorrow night on windy. And
Florida Buckeyes, run!
That's Spring Hill right there.
When are you guys going to flatten out? When will it all go away for you guys?
It's not going to flatten out for us until it looks like around Friday morning.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are tough. I mean, it messes with my head when I'm just rocking and rolling at the. You're used to it though, right?
I mean, we're going to keep 30 knots until 8 o'clock tomorrow night at least.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not. Right now, so far, this is a lot better ride than I was in marathon for Ian, but I was not protected, and for 18 hours we were 30 degrees left, 30 degrees right.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, and the Ian was 140 miles. I was 140 miles from marathon, and we were having 40 and 50 mile an hour winds. That showed how big Ian was. Huge.
I clocked 72 here on my boat at the Perry.
Yeah, That's why we decided to stay in marathon. We were there, and I said, Dottie, can we just stay here? Because no need to hurry down to Key West.
And farther, and I snapped 2 3/4 inch 3-strand lines.
Really?
Yeah,
that's no joke on a boat.
I was in the same slip that I am now, but it was when the water came up. The water came up. We only had like a 4-foot tidal surge, but the wind was pushing at the same time.
Yeah.
And we had a big commercial headboat that had broken loose from Robbie's and took the whole dock with them.
Oh crap!
Oh no!
And it was coming down the fairway over here where my boat is, and 2 boats in front of me.
Oh my God.
Everybody else had evacuated that area because they were on mooring calls and not pilings.
Yeah.
And
wow.
That boat was coming in. There were guys on their boats that lived down here. They were staying up at the Perry Hotel, and they saw the boat, and they came trucking down here, grabbed lines off of the boat and any free lines they could find laying around. And the boat actually got pushed up to the edge of the wall at one point, and they jumped on and actually put lines on it to make it stop and stay.
Oh, so really?
They wiped out all the rest of the boats down here.
That's good. They were able to get on and get the lines on. Wow.
I don't think there's any traffic issues with this storm yet. I don't know. What do you think?
Any
what?
Traffic issues.
We have 3 boats down in front of Key West already.
Yeah, what?
3 boats down on Key West already.
3 boats down? What does that mean?
Sunk.
Yeah, we'll lose some out here. Yeah.
Yeah.
250 boats, you're gonna lose some.
Yeah, we
Oh,
lost
my
it.
God.
We lost them. We lost one last night, and it's over in front of the Casa Casales.
Oh, really?
Over past White Street Pier. They were 2 boats that were up in Cowkey Channel.
Yeah.
And the other sunk at the turn at the airport right out there. It looked like a little S2.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
really? Oh, wow.
what caused that?
When the wind picked up and the water was, we had the water breaking here out on the reef 5 miles out. We had breaking seas 2 days ago because we had a current that was countering that breeze as this system was coming up. And I think a bunch of people that were on the hook actually had problems with that because that current was a really big current taking everything out to sea. So if you were set for the breeze and you're sitting on a mooring ball or you're on an anchor and you pick up because you're not ready for that current, you're going to end up loose and you're going to end up going down. And I think both of those boats got caught that way.
So their lines broke?
They drug their anchors and then that was the end of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be very happy on anchor. It's just not enough. I mean, you said, John, that some people have like 2 big engines down there, or that's more like mooring balls, but right?
I think Vanessa, they'll put 3 anchors out there, 3 heavy something, and then
3 and 4
triangle to it.
There's a number of those 36-foot boats out there that are under 40 feet, and they've got 150-pound yachtsman's anchors with a couple of other things. And there's a chain in the middle of the Key West Harbor where the links are about 85 pounds a piece. They used to belong to a big ship.
Yeah,
and when I ran the charter company here for that 25 years, I had 3 moorings out there on the tail end of that chain.
Oh, okay.
And I couldn't keep the derelicts off of it, and I wouldn't stand cover, and so finally I just gave up and I let the derelicts have it. But when it go out, they didn't have a mooring they could go to, and so we worked something out with Eric Denmark. And that's
John calls those the dingoes. I call them the dingo people. Yeah. So
I mean,
fresh
there's
and salty.
a wide range of people, and supposedly Vanessa can probably get a better update on that. The city's supposedly adding 100, but I don't know. They're going at city pace, so I don't know when they'll have it done.
Government pace.
They have to 180, but they don't have space for them.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, they don't have space for 80?
180.
Yeah.
Woo!
If they want to institute this thing where you can't stay on a mooring longer than 90 days and then you have to move, they have to add 180 moorings in order to be able to do that. So they're kind of leaving everybody alone a little bit, but they're monitoring them.
Yeah.
And once again, everybody that had those anchors down that were set, now they want you to, they don't allow you to do that. So your anchors are never really going to be set as they were before. It's got a hard bottom.
You can't be hoisting up a 150-pound anchor every 3 months.
or an engine. So fresh to salty says traffic in Tampa from evacuations over hour delay getting out of Tampa. That's always that way on 75. But 75 is always bad above Tampa, right?
Yeah, that and 4 over to Orlando. I-4 over to Orlando is bad. So.
All right, guys. Well, this has been fun.
It's been really fun.
I hope I'll get you back, Vanessa. This is like the 4th time I think it's the 4th time I've had John on here. I hope you'll come back and do this again.
Yeah, get her back. She's got a lot of information to.
Well, I like to talk boat stuff. So
I like to, like the eyes. Just, when we talk about sailing, it's just, it's just.
When you told me the other day you had I learned so much from her. The other day you called me, I forgot you had some kind of stain on your gel go whatever, and I said, get you some 1,000 grit wet. I learned that.
Oh
from
Vanessa. Vanessa. Well, how do I get off the drips from teak oil or whatever he used?
Oh yeah, the teak oil on your.
It's all over the boat. The teak looks great, but the drips don't.
I told her 1,000 grit. Do some wet 1,000 grit. What should I do?
You got to buff over that with everything. So if it's regular oil, You can be very careful and use MEKP on a cotton cloth, or you can also use
What was that on a cotton cloth?
methyl ethyl ketone peroxide, MEKP, and then put
Yeah.
a splash
Different
of
language.
wax right over the
Talking
top.
German.
MEKP is what you actually use when you're mixing gel coat and you're actually kicking fiberglass. It's a resin kicker, but it's less caustic to your gel coat. Your gel coat's going to
Yeah,
absorb.
that's what I want.
And
Okay, will you
and
text
so,
that to me so I can? I didn't
yes,
quite understand. It was like Japanese or something. It was
M-
coming.
you can
That
actually
was a whole lot. That was a whole lot better than my 1,000 grit.
you're going to mess up your wax job big time.
No, I don't want to do that.
Well, you come back in
All
and
right.
wax it later.
MEKP, and then take a little tiny bit of 3M, the 3M sealer wax.
Oh yeah, that wax restorer. Yeah.
And the sealer wax actually might have some stuff in it that might bring that oil drip up.
Okay.
Just
All right, guys.
There
All
you
right. This how I like to end it is saying we're gonna go out now. So thank you for being here. Salty Abandon out.
Out. Hope you do okay.
Oh, I didn't do it right. I did this last week.
here's
Uh,
Here we go.